right, what's going on? Here we are, members only live so far. I see Donna Lembo there. Very good. I have no idea how this is going to go. Had an issue with, as you saw, I had set the video to private. I thought that's how I had to do it for a members only, but I've got it now as public, but for members only. So I think it still should be for members only. But Donna asking me if I've ever heard of L'Amour's. Well, given my age, Donna, oh yeah, I've been there, done that. Saw Slayer there, about killed me in the mosh pit at Slayer at L'Amour's. It was killer. Like Hell Awaits tour, I think, just brutal. Yeah, great venue in Brooklyn. So yeah, I was in Connecticut at the time, so I wasn't actually in. Okay, Twisted Sister. Now that's funny. You bring Twisted Sister up because yeah, they used to play there all the time too. But my dad, he worked at the one of the prisons there in Westchester County, and he used to talk about his secretaries talking about going to see Twisted Sister all the time. And he thought it was funny because of the name, but it wasn't at the time. I never even heard of them. I was young. I wasn't at bar age at that point. So I never heard of them because they were just playing bars and stuff. And I think the Fore and Aft and some of the other ones that they used to play. But yeah, L'Amour's. I don't believe I was ever at L'Amour's East, but I know all about L'Amour's for sure. Oh, we got a dozen people in here. That's cool. I was thinking about something interesting for you guys to do to make these a little bit different because okay, I'm looking here at Donna's post. My eyes aren't great, but this time of day in this room, not bad at all. I could see halfway decent. So yeah, we're probably roughly around the same age then, Donna. That's cool. But yeah, metalheads always remain metalheads, that's for sure. Oh, Boise, Idaho. All right. Wow. Yeah, it's windy here too. It's really windy here. So yeah, I get that. But that's awesome there in Boise. You better watch your back over there in Boise. Better watch your back. But what I thought would be fun, if as long as the group wasn't too huge. I mean, I've got about 90 members at this point. I think if we could keep it under 50, I think it wouldn't be too crazy. If I posted the link where you could join the meeting and then we could face to face, so to speak, with questions rather than doing it in the chat, that would actually be easier for me because then I could see and hear you. But not everybody wants to be on video. You might have your hair up in curlers like I do, and you don't want to be seen, and that's completely understandable. I was trying to think of some stuff that makes this interesting for you. I've never been in a members only live as a member. I am a member on a couple of channels, but I'm a member on this channel just because I wanted to see what you guys see. So yeah, so we can try it and see, and if anybody wants to jump on, all they'd have to do would be to click on that link, and then I would invite you into the meeting, and then we'd be side by side. So if you guys seem like you would be into that, let me post the link and see. So I'm going to post this link. So the way it would have to work for it to be civilized is you'll have to wait till the person's done. I don't want to have like 50 people in here at one time. And there's a limit, I think a dozen, but that would be too hectic. So one at a time. If you're interested in joining me in this video and you want to just talk side by side, we got about 25 people in here, so it's a decent crowd, but not too big of a crowd where I don't think this would be crazy. So it'll be first come, first serve on that link there, but just click on that and then I would invite you in. And you could do it on a phone. You could do it on, it's just like Zoom. Just StreamYard is the platform. A lot of us use StreamYard. You've probably heard that name before from creators talking about it. As far as I know, it's like the only game in town. I'm not familiar with anybody. I see. How have I been feeling? Your name is in green, so I can't make it out. I'm sorry. Let me put you on the screen. All right, Jessica. Very, very cool of you to ask me. Been feeling good. I got a lot of random pain that I've been dealing with lately. Part of it, I think, is getting used to using this wheelchair. My right hand is just absolutely killing me, and I'm not sure. I can't quite make a fist. And my left hand isn't as bad, but my right hand is really in a lot of pain. So I don't know if it's just because of the way I grip the wheelchair. It's the only thing that makes any sense because I'm not really doing it. Not like I'm going out and playing football with my friends. I'm sitting here in a wheelchair. So I can't really figure out any other reason for it. But yeah, the wounds are pretty much healed up. My leg, I've got 2 small Band-Aids on it. If I could maneuver this video, I would actually show you because it's not gross or anything. I'm reluctant to show pictures of things that are disturbing. And while my wounds have healed, they take pictures and the nurses take pictures of them, but to measure the process of the healing. But I've never wanted to see them. I toyed around about putting some of that kind of stuff in the book, but I'm not going to. I'll put a few pictures in there, but there won't be of that kind of stuff. But the wound on my backside from the necrotizing fasciitis took almost a year. June would be a year, so it's now just about done. So about 10 months it took for that wound to heal on my backside from the necrotizing fasciitis, all the different surgeries they had to do to get the infection out. But that was bad. And then my leg, where they did the amputation, that was like a secondary wound. And that's why I did the hyperbaric chamber to speed up the healing. And it did. It's healed it up considerably. But one of the downsides is it gave me cataracts. So now I got cataracts on top of everything else I'm dealing with. But I think I had very early signs of it, and the hyperbaric chamber exacerbated that. And so now it's hard for me to read, which really sucks because I was getting ready to start the book. But I'm able to deal with it. I've been doing videos, as you guys see, every day. I do a video just to kind of blow the rust off it. I think I'm in a pretty decent groove now. I don't know what you guys think of the new videos that I've been putting out. I got a new one coming tonight. It's actually done. I just was going to wait for this to be over with, and I'll post it. It's about the Cy stuff, so I figured I had to get Cy in on it, and it's kind of cool because the picture shows him kind of looking off to the side, and on the thumbnail you'll see it. It says something about Cy devastates prosecution with his side eye. And the picture is showing some side eye. It's pretty funny. I think it's funny, but you guys might not. I try to be clever with the titles, like that one I did of Goer. The recent one I did on him. I had a few commenters say that very clever title, but it was Here We Goer again. But let's see here. We got somebody else. You are in a new groove, loving all the posts. Thanks, Donna. That's cool. Yeah, I think I'm doing pretty. I'm doing okay with the workload. That's why it's slowly increasing. So I'm trying to build up, the stamina of doing this day to day, and then I'll be doing the podcast again the end of April with me and Chris, the two originals, and then Joey Cashman, our third guy. He's going to be involved, but maybe not as much, just because he's got a new shift he's working at his job. But we're going to start the podcast off, and trying to think of a cool one to open it back up with, because we were about episode 265, 266, somewhere in there. So we're going to pick up where we left off, but it's going to be different. It's going to be shorter. So the episodes are going to be an hour or less. They're going to be murder, metal, and then mayhem, which is normally where we do the killer cage matches and all that real crazy stuff. We're going to do a special mayhem show like every fifth episode. It'll be only mayhem, and it'll be all that kind of stuff, which some people don't like that stuff. So I figure that way it's on its own. All the people that really like the craziness can go there and get crazy, and the people that don't can watch or listen to the regular podcast every other week. May go to every week again if I can, but want to at least go to every other week. So here another question. You always come up with good ideas and things I really haven't heard about. That's cool, Donna. Yeah, I try to come up with things that not everybody's doing. I think that's kind of silly to do what everybody else is doing. That's why I thought it was funny. I did that video recently on Maddie's black jacket for no other reason than I was just going through pictures and saw that ridiculous picture of those cops with the jacket. And I thought, I really haven't thought about that lately. Like, how did it end up there? I've always wondered with that. So I did a video on it and posed some different questions and theories and stuff. And there were a couple commenters that were like, this is dumb. Like, well, this is old news. Like, we already know about this. And I'm like, thinking to myself, like, well, obviously not everybody is up on the case to the degree of everybody else, So although some of us have been doing this from day one, some of us not day one. I wasn't a day one on this one. I was probably about 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months behind on this case. I was all wrapped up in Murdoch. I was loving that Alex Murdoch case. Interesting, very, very interesting, and was watching that through that summer. And so I wasn't really all big on this one at the beginning, but then, I picked up on it and started learning all the stuff. And, so you got people that maybe are just new to this because they've been hearing about these things here recently. So we shouldn't all assume, and I'm not saying you guys do, but, people that assume that everybody knows everything is wrong, because not everybody does know everything. I mean, you watch Lana on Truth and Transparency. I don't think there's anybody that knows more about the Idaho 4 case than her. I mean, Jules of all trades, maybe she's another one. I don't know it to that kind of degree. I'm a different kind of show, more commentary and speculations and stuff, and just generating conversation than a news channel that I read to you. I don't do that for a reason. So thank you for that comment. Oh, I got Donna again. I'll put more of you on there if more of you guys have comments and questions. I'm trying to catch them all. Maddie's black jacket. Yeah, I think it's an interesting question of how did it end up there? Did she run out of the house and it got dropped there? Did something happen to her in the shadows of that pathway that led to the house? Because I read something or watched something, I don't recall which now, on Eric Goer in the beginning when I first started looking into him. And there was something said about that it was a common drop off spot right there by that fire hydrant because, there's once you get into King Road, Queen Road, there's no other way to get out of there other than to do a turnaround and come back out because it's all one way and there's no way out. So it would make sense for somebody driving people to just drop them off there. It's kind of a central location. And so I wondered if maybe that is where he dropped them off. He said he dropped them off at the house, but if he was involved in this somehow, which I'm not saying he is or he isn't, but certainly makes me wonder, it could have been a thing where, he could have known that there was going to be people there waiting and he dropped her off there or them off there for a reason. And then from their walk from the fire hydrant to the house, probably about 50 yards, there's patches from what I've seen in videos where it looks pretty dark there. It's not very well lit. There's those woods right there. Could have easily been grabbed up and that jacket came off because it was a big jacket, Or maybe it happened at the house. She had the jacket on and they ripped it off and then took it with them. They were cleaning up maybe and threw it. We don't know what was on the jacket. That's the thing. The cops just, they took something out of the pocket and then just set the jacket down. Wow, we got 55 people in here. I was really surprised. Doing a members only, I really had no idea what we were going to see. But let's see, is anybody here? Victorine, what's up, Victorine? You're always in these lives. I appreciate that very much. You guys are so awesome. But Victorine says she watches Jules too. Yeah, Jules is good. There's some stuff from her I'm not crazy about, but overall, I think she does an unbelievably thorough job. I mean, her and Lana, I think, are, to me at least, kind of side by side, when it comes to just really digging into and Grizzly. Yeah, she is probably, now that I think of it, probably the best just because she's so organized in how she presents and she's got links to like everything in her playlist. So you could go and learn about the case and click on, documents, and very, very thorough and useful for people that are interested in her cases. And she does a varied repertoire of cases. So I would say a Grizzly, Lana, and Jules, probably the three best at that kind of stuff. But then there's some I watch just because I like them, like Harsh. I like Harsh. I think he's a good personality. He's got a sense of humor. I know not everybody likes him, but I do. And I watch his videos, and I know he's watched mine, and that's cool, I love Lucky and AR, of course, too. You guys know that. The three of us are thick as thieves. We talk to each other quite a bit. Lucky is very busy, so Lucky's all over the country. He's all over the place, so he's a busy guy. But me and AR, we talk usually at least a couple times a week. When I was in the hospital, we talked about stuff all the time here. So let's see. I'm looking here. Victorine says my ADHD makes me deep dive, but I get distracted and deep dive into something else. So yeah, I get that. I think all of us have that. Like I'll pick up my phone to look up something, and then I forget what I picked up my phone for. So then I click on Facebook, and then I'm lost in a bunch of nonsense scrolling on there, looking at silly stuff and reels and stuff like that, and get away from what I was intended to be doing there. So I completely understand that. I see here Jessica says Lucky is hot. Lucky is a good dude. I believe Lucky's married, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But Lucky's a great guy. Super, super good dude. We'll be doing something. Lucky and I. So the plan is next weekend for the big live, not the members only, but the full live. It's going to be me and AR, and then maybe I'll see because I want to do this live right after it. So maybe I'll see if he wants to hang around and he could do the members only with me too. That would be cool. So you guys could get to talk to me and AR more private. We're still at 55 people here. I got, like I said, 90 members. So, boy, I was thinking if I had 40 people, 45 people show up, that'd be half. I'd be surprised. And I've got, 56 now. So thank you guys for showing up here for the first ever Horns High Club members only live. Once I get the studio back to where I can get in there, handicap for me, it'll be more Horns High-ish. Right now I'm in my dining room, and my wife's taste in art shows. She's got some paintings on the wall, and over in this corner, though, is my corner with the Lovecraft and the blood painting from Vincent Castiglia. So, but I'll pass that on, Jessica, about Lucky. I'm sure he would appreciate that, and he would say thank you. I'm sure. And Jessica says, "I am loved." That's very nice of you. We had so many really nice. My wife, I know, when I was sick, and she was checking on stuff the best that she could. She was just really blown away. I know my mom was too, about all the feedback and well wishes from you guys while I was sick and down. And I wanted so bad to be able to get on and do stuff here, but there was just no way. And I didn't have the strength. I mean, even for the first probably month I was home, I really struggled just to do normal stuff, let alone creating and trying to do this and all that. So I've got to try to keep myself from overdoing it too, and so that's why I've been slowly increasing. So the podcast is next, and then I'll be working on my book, the next book here, the one about what I've been through in these last few months. I think it'll be an interesting read. I've never done nonfiction before, so this will be a first for me to do that. All I do is fiction. So, like, if anybody's into horror or want to talk about any of that stuff for these members only, I'm all about it. I want to really let these be about you guys, so that's why I'm looking here at the comments and trying to get as many of them here. So very cool, Victorine. Thanks for saying that. You're glad I'm here. I'm glad to be here too, because the hospital was the worst. My wife came to visit me pretty much every day. I think of the months I was in the hospital, I think she might have missed 5 days. And that was just because she had work stuff or it's the sheer exhaustion, because she was, forced to deal with the house. I've got a pretty good sized house. She was forced to deal with all that. Luckily, we found somebody to help get the grass cut for her. And so she was working all day and then coming to the hospital at night. And there were some days when it was really critical, when I was intubated, where she was there twice in the day. She'd come out and leave and come back. And I was about 45, 50 minutes away. So that wasn't easy. Second round of hospitalizations was local. So that was a little easier still, though. A chore with working all day and trying to do stuff at home, plus come visit me. But when she wasn't there, it was very lonely. I really didn't like it at all. And I had my phone. I just had no interest in watching any YouTube videos or any of that. I really detached from it because I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep doing it, to be completely honest with you. I thought about, after what I had been through, how did I want to talk about true crime and all that gore and just horrible things people do to each other? I thought maybe I would want to just be done with it, But then as time went on, and then talking to AR at night, and he wasn't like pushing me, it was just good to talk to him. But I finally started to kind of become myself again. I was like, man, I love true crime. How could I not do true crime? So that's when I decided, yeah, I'm going to make a comeback and get back on here and start doing videos again. And so I'm very glad I can do that. So Donna says, my wife is amazing. Yes, she is amazing. She takes care of me. There are some things I cannot do. Trying to accept that. It's kind of tough after being, you know, the guy of the house for all my adult life. I've been handling stuff. I've always been the kind of guy that cooks, cleans, washes my clothes. I always have been pretty self-sufficient. So to not be able to do that kind of stuff is very, very frustrating. I want to be able to help her cook dinner or just cook dinner for her and not have her do anything. But right now, the kitchen's not peat proof yet. I got to get some things situated in there so that I can move around easier in a wheelchair. I have to get that renovated so that I can get in there. And that's obviously going to take some money. The VA is going to pay for a lot of it, but I have to make up the difference. So yeah, so there's some things that need to be done. The house is like 110 years old. So I love the house, but it's like with anything, an older house, a lot of stuff to do, a lot of things to fix. So, but thank you, Donna. That's nice of you to say about Jenny. But yeah, she is amazing, and she's beautiful, and I love her, and she takes good care of me. So I can't say enough about that, because not every person would want to do that. Handle some of the things she's got to handle, changing my dressings, um, taking me to all my doctor's appointments, rearranging her schedule to fit mine. I mean, that's pretty awesome. And right now, I sleep in the living room because our bedroom is upstairs. So I sleep in the living room. The VA got me a hospital bed, and then we brought our bed down here so she could sleep next to me. So I'm in a hospital bed, and her bed is butted up here next to mine. So our living room is now two beds and not much else, like to wiggle around to get out. So that's of course turned the other rooms into storage areas to put stuff that was in the living room. So the house is a little chaotic, but it's she's held it together. So yeah, very, very awesome. Oh, Donna goes on to say, cute that she moved downstairs. Yeah, I mean, we didn't want to sleep on different floors, and if I need something in the night, which is usually once, I need her to do a couple things for me that I can't do, then she, is there to go do that. And then I also have a lot of nightmares, severe PTSD issues, and usually I'll wake up and be pretty freaked out. So having her right there is helpful. But the dreams I started getting from being intubated for 12 days, the drugs that they had to put me on were very powerful. And they told my wife that there was a chance that, that I may, lose some of my mental abilities, there could be changes in me, that sort of thing. So she didn't know what she was going to get when I came to. But thankfully, I've pretty much come back to my normal self, being silly and stupid and kissing on my grandkids and all that fun stuff that I like to do. So yeah, but there are some things I still can't quite get yet, which is why I was pretty much forced to retire um, from my day job, just because I can't do it anymore. So now I'm just doing this, and getting ready to start writing again. I'm really anxious to do that. That's for sure. I got a buddy doing a painting for the cover for this next book, for the nonfiction book. I've got a digital artist I use for my fiction, but for this one, I want to try something different. I got a friend that does oil paintings, and he's really good. And so we're going to do an oil painting of the cover art, and then have a photographer take a picture of it, and then digitize the logo for my name and the text for the cover, and then that's how it'll be. I think it'll look really cool. So I'm really anxious for that. But any other questions? I know Donna has been pretty dominating. Donna and Victorine and Jessica have been the two or three that have been here in the chat. I'm looking to see if we've got anybody else that's weighed in that I missed. I'm trying not to miss you, so don't think I'm doing it intentionally. So, see, who's this from Boise? Bree Sully 23. Boise, Idaho. Very cool. Very cool. That was an earlier one. So we're at 57 people here, about a half hour in. I'd like to keep this at under an hour, just so that I'm not taking you away from stuff, and then they give me a chance to do some things here. But I'm open to talk about whatever you guys are interested in. If you want to talk about Idaho, I'll talk about Idaho. If you want to talk about Delphi, you want to talk about the sheriff shooting the judge in his chambers. There are some cases I don't know a lot about. You know, I don't follow all of them, but I follow a lot of them. But Donna says under an hour is perfect. That's what I thought too, Donna. Keep them short and sweet, and give you guys a chance to talk to me. If anybody wants to, come on and do a video with me right now, I'll send you the link. I'll post it. Let me do that again. I know I did that earlier, but in case we get some people that didn't catch it, I'll post that link again. And if you want to come on and video chat with the group, you just have to click on that link. Okay, now it's being stubborn. You just have to click on the link, and then you can come on in and be with us on video. If you want to do that, you don't have to. Of course, it's up to you. I just posted it there. We do it one at a time. So if you want to get in on that and somebody's talking with me, just have to wait. And then once we remove them, I'll put you on. So, but when you click on the link, you'll be like in a waiting room, and then I'll pull you up into the meeting. Very similar to Zoom. If you've ever used Zoom before, StreamYard is the platform, but it's very similar to Zoom. Virtually the same thing. A lot of the creators use it because it's wired in with YouTube, so it works well for lives and stuff like that. Because it's already, once you set it up in StreamYard, it already tells YouTube when it is, get thumbnail, everything's all there. You don't have to do it twice, so that works out good. But if anybody wants to talk about that, that's fine. I'm thinking about doing I was talking about this before I got sick. If I think that was the timing of it, was before I got sick with the necrotizing fasciitis. I was talking about in a live. I have always been blown away with the West Memphis 3 case. That's always been an interesting one of mine, that I think would be cool to talk about. I know everybody's all wrapped up in Idaho 4, but I think sometimes a little palate cleanse isn't a bad idea. But I had one of my members as a nurse, and Wendy, and she wanted to do it with me. She wanted to be on the video because she did a video with me, I think a video chat or something. And so, yeah, I mean, if I do a video chat with somebody and I think they've got the personality or kind of a good chemistry there to pull it off, I'm all about that. I know that's Blogger Girl. She was got her start here on Murder Mental Mayhem, doing videos with me. We did a few videos, true crime deep cuts, some of that stuff. I want to do another true crime deep cuts, but I want to do it on the West Memphis 3. So that'll be a case I'm going to be working on. That's not the norm. There's just something different, but it has to do with people being accused of something they didn't do, which totally falls in line with a lot of us think is Idaho 4. Okay, here's Jessica said she would uh, get on the video, but she's driving. So yeah, not a good idea, Jessica. I don't want you getting hurt driving and talking to Murder Mental Mayhem. Let's see here. Somebody. Yeah, Donna remembers Blogger Girl. Yeah, she's got her own channel now. Um, she left kind of abruptly. She just told me she didn't want to do videos anymore and didn't really give much of a reason, and that's fine. Um, she was really cool to work with. I liked dealing with her. I don't know what happened. She didn't say, and I don't know if it was anything bad. It's just she didn't want to do videos anymore. But then she started her own channel, and then I haven't seen much from her. But then I saw she had one the other day on Cy-Ray. So yeah, I'm not sure how many subs she's got now. I know she was trying to get monetized and all of that. She got to have 1,000 members and 4,000 watch hours to be able to monetize the channel. So yeah, if you want to get on the video, the link I posted that here just a minute ago, and then I'll approve you to come on in and chat, but you don't have to. And in these, if you want to talk about other cases, let's say you want to talk about Ted Bundy or Gacy or Ed Gein or any of those. I mean, I'm pretty knowledgeable about true crime, especially the classic milestone type cases like those guys. I've got all those masks in the studio too. I've got, I think, a dozen of them, and I've got some pretty creepy ones you've seen in the studio. I kind of miss being out there, but right now I can't get into it because I don't have the ramp that I need to get into get up the couple steps to get in. So, but we'll get that fixed here soon, and probably do a tour of Horns High. I know I wanted to do that before, but I never did. But maybe I'll do that this time. We'll get the studio cleaned up, and I'll go in or have somebody come in and do like a little whirl around the studio, because it's a lot to get in. I mean, I have people that come here to just visit me that want to see the studio. I mean, they just want to see it, because the pictures don't do it justice. Video doesn't do it justice. It's crazy. I mean, it's like a 12 by 15 room, so not very big. Oh, I see Melissa Myers got in here. Very good. What's up, Melissa? Good to see you. Good to see you. But yeah, I have people that come here that just want to see the studio and they just try to soak it in because there's just tons of stuff on the walls and the masks and everything about it. And then we got some spiders, like real spiders out there that make these like elaborate webs, and we like leave them alone because it's so cool. I'm not afraid of spiders, but our third co-host, Joey, didn't like spiders, so it kind of freaked him out. But now he's in Toledo, Ohio, so we do him remote. And then Chris and I are in the studio. So I look forward to starting that up again here at the end of next month. So that'll be on the podcast. We do solved cases. And on the YouTube channel, as you guys know, I do unsolved and like Idaho 4 and Delphi and that kind of thing. So very cool. Out delivering Uber Eats, couldn't ask for better company. That's good that you do that. Uber Eats just started doing service to my house because I live in a really small town. And I have been taking advantage of that because it's been amazing being here by myself. my wife packs a cooler for me so I can make my lunches and stuff. But having an option of pretty much ordering from wherever I want to, because I've got a pretty decent sized city about 10 minutes away. So they deliver out here. So thank you, Melissa, for being an Uber Eats driver, because I have been meeting a lot of Uber Eats drivers. That would be a trip if you drove here to bring me my Uber Eats, but I know we don't live close by. But yeah, that's super cool. Coincidental, right? What state do I live in? Well, I know some YouTubers are really careful about where they, like where they live and stuff like that. So I'm certainly not going to put like my address up here. And I know you're not asking for that. Um, but I live in Illinois. I live in Illinois, so not in Chicago, but in the farmlands of Illinois is where I'm at. So I used to live in New York. I was born in New York, and I was born in the Bronx, and then I moved to Connecticut when I was young, like 6, 7. Moved to Connecticut. My dad worked in New York as a prison parole officer, which is what got me into true crime. And then we lived in Connecticut, just over the line. And so he worked at the prison and commuted, and so that's what got me all into true crime. Hearing him talk about stuff at the dinner table, meeting a lot of really weird, crazy people for sure. Let's see here what she said. My parents are from Pekin, Illinois. That's right. I think you told me that one time. That's funny. I was supposed to do, and I think that was the one I had. I'm trying to think if I did it or if it got canceled. I think I did do that. I did a book signing in Pekin, because that's not terribly far from where I am. But I did a book signing there. That's what they did, a charity event for their pet shelter, and I went there and did that, and that was really cool. Now that the memories are coming back. This is right before I got sick. But yeah, Pekin is a neat little town, not too big. Peoria is close by, but that's cool that that's where they're from. So, which prison did your dad work at? Yeah, he worked at Bedford Hills, which is the women's prison. He worked there, and he also worked across the street at the processing. I don't know what you call it in New York, where the inmates go before they get sent to their future home, where they're evaluated and stuff. And that's where my dad had run into the son of Sam. He wasn't one of his cases, but my dad was at the prisons when all that was going on. So that's why son of Sam is pretty firm in my mind. I remember being a kid in the Bronx, visiting my grandparents in the Bronx, where we were playing outside. And once it started getting dark, they called us in because son of Sam had killed a few of his victims in the Bronx. So it was pretty nerve-wracking. So they called us in at dusk, and it was pretty crazy. So, all right, we're getting up on 45 minutes. My battery is starting to get a little low. I didn't bring my cord in here, but I know we were gonna keep these under an hour, so we'll keep going. If I just drop off, my battery died, so I'm sorry. We're at 39 people here. Oh, look at our friend AR Hayes. What's up, AR? Good to see you. Good to see you here with the members. Thanks, buddy. Definitely good to see you. And then next week for the live, it'll be me and AR Hayes, and then maybe AR will want to stick around, and we'll do a members only after that. So if AR wants to stick around, I'm sure the ladies would love that, seeing AR Hayes in all his coolness. Oh, my wife's bringing me the power cord here, saving the day. saving the day. Give me a second. I didn't think I'd be doing this that long. I didn't expect this much of a crowd, to be honest with you. There's one right up here, honey.
I know, but I don't want to go down on the camera.
Oh, I could put it in there. I could put it in. Wife doesn't want to be on camera. She's in Sunday mode, so she's all good. All right, there we go. All right, now we're good. Now my battery won't die. Thank you, Jenny. Good to see A.R. Hayes in here. And yeah, I think it's cool that a lot of the members here and people that follow my channel are also fans of AR and members with his channel. And just, I think it's great. That's what the community should be like. That's why it's so trivial when people get into those fights. I know you guys have probably heard those before with the different creators. It's just so stupid. I don't get it. So, but yeah, going back to Donna's question about the prison, Bedford Hills was a triple max women's prison that my dad worked at. Had some pretty famous cases out there. He had what was her name? The Joey Buttafuoco, Amy Fisher. He had her case. She was a real bee, I guess, apparently, and she was one of his cases. He'd always require another woman in the room with him because she would accuse everybody of inappropriately touching her and all this kind of nonsense. And but yeah, she was there at Bedford Hills. Gene Harris, the Scarsdale diet doctor, that's going back a ways. Donna might remember that. But yeah, there are some, really cool old prisons in New York. I know we've done some on the podcast, like Sing Sing and Attica, the Attica prison riots, and just brutal stuff. So yeah, he's been in quite a few of those. He's been retired now for over 20 years, but he worked a lot of interesting cases. Seeing here, true crime content creator battle royal. Yeah, that would be a cage match like we do in Murder Metal Mayhem podcast. We do a thing. I call it the killer cage match. Okay, so I get random numbers from our audience, and I have a list of 100 killers, ranging from like Ed Gein to Gacy to Bundy, whoever, and then Eileen Wuornos. Mix it up, men and women, and then 100 objects for them to fight with, like a razor blade, rope, all sorts of weaponry, axe. And then there's dumb ones in there, like a can of corn and a hairbrush and some other stuff. And then we act it out like it's really happening. So it's like, let's say the audience picks by their numbers John Wayne Gacy versus Jeffrey Dahmer, and then the objects for him fight with is an axe and a baseball bat, and you just kind of let it go. We kind of act it out. It's pretty funny, and tell what we think would happen in a cage match like that. And they're a lot of fun, but they're pretty raunchy, so it's not for everybody. But if you are interested in that, you can go listen to Murder Metal Mayhem, the podcast, and you'll hear the killer cage matches. They're pretty funny. And we've done it live before too, where we take audience numbers from the live crowd and pull it up. And it's easy to do. It's just a game I came up with to get audience participation. And it was a hit. Yeah, Donna says Attica is really notorious. Yeah, the prison riot there is that brutal. We've done quite a few prison riots on the podcast. We did Attica. We did the New Mexico prison riot in 1980. we've done a lot of just notorious prisons, Alcatraz, San Quentin. We've done a bunch of them. We've done some foreign ones too, like the Black Dolphin in Russia and Siberia. So yeah. Let's see. I am not the serial murderer Ronald Dominique who murdered 23 men in Louisiana. That's funny because that is a crazy coincidence. That is going to be I think our first case back from coming back with the podcast next month is Ronald Dominique. I stumbled on it on YouTube, and now seeing your name there, I'm glad you clarified that because I would have been freaked out. Because I'm pretty sure he's either dead or he's I know he's either dead or in prison. I'm pretty sure he's dead, but I don't know. But that's hilarious. I'm sure he did ruin your life. I don't know if you would have changed your name, I guess, but it's such a unique name. That's just crazy that you've got that same name. That's wild. That's really wild. Yeah, I do recall you in a chat or somewhere where you said this. Now that I remember, my memory's not the best since being intubated, but I do remember, Ronald. That is wild. I could see where it would have ruined your life, but Ronald says he's in prison. I figured he was. He killed 23. That's why I'm surprised that he's not a household name, because Dahmer killed 17, Gacy 33. I don't remember Bundy's final body count, but there's been quite a few with fewer. I mean, Ed Gein was only a couple, so it's with Gein, though, it was the other stuff he did with the skin and all that made him, very, very notorious. But Ronald Dominique, yeah, Louisiana. That's hilarious, man. That is the plan of our first case is him. So what a trip to see you in the chat right before I do that. But yeah, it's a good if you're interested. There's a couple docs I saw on him. The one really good one is that World's Most Evil Killers. That series did one on him, and those are good because it's like 45, 50 minutes, kind of gives you the highlights. Those are usually the things I watch to get prepared for a Murder Metal Mayhem podcast. So, and sometimes we go really out there, we actually go to the scene. Not too much with that, especially now with my situation. I can't drive or anything, but very cool. Oh, so you changed your name? Oh, my new name. Okay. Well, that's good that you changed your name because I could see where that would have been a hell of a thing to put on a resume, especially if people are fresh on, when he did that, which was, I think, the early 90s, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. He reminded me of a cross between Gacy and BTK. Gacy with the male victims, and then BTK with the strangulation, and Gacy too. But he reminded me of a cross between those two, which is pretty gnarly. So okay, now I remember you. We talked about some of your work um, with recording, and that's cool that you played with Hall and Oates. That's super cool. I met Daryl Hall when I was a waiter at a restaurant in Bethel, Connecticut, and he pulled up. We had curb service, and we were short on waitresses, so I went out there and waited on him. And he was really nice, really cool. He just wanted to check the place out and eat a burger and a shake, and he was hanging out just by himself in this really nice, souped up, like 50s car. But really class act and real nice. And that would have been at the height of of his popularity. So that would have been, you get celebrities that are kind of rude and that sort of thing. But he was unbelievably nice, very pleasant, and gave me a nice tip too. That was cool. Very good. Well, anybody else? We got about 6 minutes or so left if we're going to try to keep this under an hour. But really cool to. Oh, he says Daryl is no longer nice. Wow, that's not good. That's not good. I don't like to hear that. I saw a documentary about them, and he was on there, but interesting. You'll have to maybe next time we do a live, you have to shed some light on what that's all about. What you could tell, of course. But anybody else have anything they want to add? Anything you want to say? You want to ideas for videos? You want me to do a video about something that nobody else is doing? Or you want me to do more videos on somebody like Goer? Or I got the one coming out here probably within the next hour is going to be on Cy Ray and his obliteration of the prosecution with all that exposed chicanery going on over there. So that's the video I'm getting ready to post. But nice of you to say, Jessica, see me in good spirits. Yeah, I've had a lot of compliments. People say, they like my attitude. I know my doctors are really impressed with the way I'm dealing with being an amputee now. I'm making the most of it. But you know what I tell people, like especially little kids? So I've had a couple like little boys come up and ask me, does that hurt? Or what happened to my leg? And I tell them I'm kicking so much butt that they had to take my leg. And they laugh at that and they run off and they laugh. So I figure, I wonder how many kids in this world will be telling stories about this weird older guy they met with one leg that said they took his leg because he was kicking so much butt. But I like to have a little fun. But yeah, they get curious. It's cool. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. So, anybody think the Idaho 4 event had something to do with who kept all the kids from posting even one pic? That's a good question, man. I mean, they had to be scared to all hell for not one person in that town to crack. I mean, not just the kids that were there with their phones, but that whole town is like, they don't, mum is the word. They don't even want to say anything. And that's weird. You would think somebody's got to be hard up for some dough to want to crack and tell their story. But I think whoever did that hit was like a mid-level person in the narcotics line of work, that somebody in that house or people in that house were either going to go rat on them or flushed stuff down the toilet, which we'd heard before. Something like that got out of hand. And then the mid-level, we're not talking about the cartel came in there, mid-level people that would oversee like an Emma and Demetrius, a mid-level crew came in there and just whacked them like that. Those murders were done had to be from either money or drugs. I won't believe it's any other reason. I won't believe it's some lone psychopath. It wasn't over being obsessed with one of those girls. Whoever went in there to show you don't mess with us, and if you do, this is what happens. And that's what I think's got that whole town quiet, and that's why I think nobody wants to say anything. And like you're saying, Ronald, about the pictures, Well, thank you very much, Jessica, about the content and being a badass. I guess we could say badass, but all right. Well, very good, guys. Well, I see it's here just about coming up on an hour, so let's go ahead and call it. I really enjoyed this. So let's do this every weekend. I'll let you know when it's going to be. This next one will be Sunday. I'm going to do a live at 4, and then we usually do those from 4 to 5:30, and then we'll meet in the members only, and we'll do a live. I'll set it for like 5:45 to give me a break for a minute, and then we'll do a live with the members, and I'll see how that works. If that's too much, then we'll break them up separate. But I figured if everything is all set up, it may just be as easy to do it together. So, but we would save these for things that you guys want to talk about with me that you don't want to bring up in a group setting for whatever the reason may be. Questions, comments, suggestions, ideas. It's for you. That's why I'm doing it. And I truly appreciate every one of you guys for being a member of the Horn Tie Club. You guys are killer. And hopefully with these new perks, it'll even feel better about throwing down $1.99 a month to be able to do some of that stuff. So I want to make up for lost time, because in the months I was in the hospital, I felt terrible, but you guys hung with me and I appreciate it. So I'll see you next week.